The manager slid my final paycheck across the desk and smirked. "Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Brenda." My hands trembled as I snatched the check. This was it. After 3 years of bending over backward, of putting up with the passive-aggressive notes, the impossible deadlines, and the general air of superiority, I was out. It all started about 6 months ago. I'd landed my dream job at this high-end marketing firm, Aura Strategies. The office was all sleek glass and minimalist furniture, and for the first few weeks I was on cloud 9. Then I met the golden child, as I internally nicknamed her, Chloe. She was the boss's niece, and apparently that meant she could do no wrong. My first real run-in was over a client presentation. I'd spent weeks crafting this campaign, poring over every detail. Chloe, who'd been assigned to the project as my assistant, had barely contributed. On the day of the pitch, she presented a watered-down version of my ideas, claiming them as her own. I was furious, but when I brought it up to my direct supervisor, he just waved his hand. "Chloe's still learning the ropes, Brenda. Just be a team player." That was the first crack. Soon it became a pattern. Chloe would borrow my ideas, forget to include me in important meetings, or accidentally delete crucial files from our shared drive. Every time I complained, I was met with the same dismissive attitude. "Brenda, you're being too sensitive. Brenda, it's just a minor hiccup." The company culture was toxic, and Chloe was its spoiled queen. Then came the incident with the charity auction. Our firm was sponsoring a local animal shelter. I'd spent my own money and time buying a beautiful handcrafted birdhouse to donate, something I knew would fetch a good price. The night before the auction, I found it missing from my desk. Panic set in. I searched everywhere. Finally, I saw Chloe leaving the office with a large, oddly shaped package. When I confronted her, she feigned innocence. "Oh, that? I just borrowed it for a little inspiration, for my own donation." My birdhouse apparently was now part of her contribution. The shelter, bless their hearts, accepted it, but the look on the organizer's face when Chloe smugly presented it, I felt sick. My breaking point, though, was a project for a major new client. I'd been working around the clock, fueled by coffee and sheer determination. Chloe predictably had been MIA. The night before the deadline, I discovered she'd submitted a completely different proposal under her name, one that was frankly embarrassing and nowhere near ready. My supervisor called me into his office the next morning, not to discuss the disaster Chloe had created, but to reprimand me. He said I'd failed to collaborate effectively, and had created a bottleneck. That's when the manager slid my paycheck across the desk. I walked out of Aura Strategies, not with my head held high, but with a knot of shame and anger in my stomach. I'd let them walk all over me. I'd let Chloe's entitlement and the company's indifference crush my spirit. But as I sat in my car, the anger started to morph into something else. Resolve. I had a portfolio of work that was undeniably mine, even if it was buried under Chloe's incompetence. I had skills, experience, and a newfound understanding of what I wouldn't tolerate ever again. The next day, I started my own freelance consulting business. It was hard at first, but I poured all the energy I'd wasted fighting for recognition at Aura into building my own brand. I reached out to contacts, showcased my best work, and most importantly, I set boundaries. I learned that true collaboration means mutual respect, not one person riding on another's coattails. And I learned that sometimes, walking away from a toxic environment isn't a failure. It's the first step towards building something truly your own. The smirk on that manager's face? It's long gone. My own success is the sweetest. Revenge.